All right, we'll continue with Colorado head coach Tad Boyle and senior forward Josh Scott. All right, Tad, if you want to go ahead and make an opening statement.
Yeah. I was just sitting out with Josh in the waiting room right there, and I'm not sure I have a lot to say. I'm just ready to play. I mean, it's this time of year. I know last year when we were here, everybody was blowing Colorado basketball up, and we had a disappointing year, and now everybody's forgotten about us, and so I want to just go out and play and see what we can do and see what kind of damage we can do in this league this year, because it's going to be a much improved league. I think a more balanced league, a deeper league. But I expect Colorado to be right in the mix of it.
All right, we'll go ahead and take questions for Tad or Josh. Third row on the right there.
Josh, I know you're sick of the back questions, but you've said you're feeling well, but did the back injury change maybe focusing on your core more, anything along those lines?
I'm healthy now, first off, but definitely had to do more rehab stuff, and I kind of stay away from, intensive heavy lifting exercises in the weight room. But in the end, it's just a lot more rehab, icing my back, stem, massaging if it's a little sore, but it hasn't bugged me in quite a long time, so I'm good.
We're here on the left side, third row.
Coach, what kind of role is Xavier Johnson taking on this team?
Well, Xavier's, it's tough. His senior year, he's on the sidelines. The thing about Xavier, he's been very vocal, and I think he's really helped some of the guys that are younger, some of the newer players, talking to him, letting them know what to expect. But I know he and Josh have a good relationship. They came in together, and Wesley Gordon as well. So it's really difficult when a guy like that goes down in the summertime, and he's expecting so much, looking forward to his senior year. These guys are looking forward to playing with him. It's not an easy situation. He's handled it very, very well, his injury, and so his role is still yet to be defined. I mean, depending on how his Achilles responds and what ends up happening this year. We've talked about all the possibilities, and again, and the worst is he comes back for a fifth year and is a part of next year's team. The best is, he gets healthy and can help us at some point this year. That's yet to be determined, and I'm not going to make any, statements or qualifications in terms of what's going to happen, because I don't know.
Third row on the right.
And for Josh, Coach has talked during the preseason about two guys that were with the team last year, obviously, in Josh Fortune and George King, maybe picking up some of the scoring slack this year. What have you seen out of those guys as practices gotten rolling, and maybe their improvements over last year?
Well, for George, he's stronger. He really took advantage of his redshirt year, and both of them can really shoot, which helps me and Wesley out tremendously. It helps with double teams, and honestly, I'm really excited to play with Fortune. He's had college basketball experience before. He's been there, and so he kind of understands the game and how to play. And it's going to be nice to have a couple of extra snipers out there on the perimeter.
First row here on the left.
Josh, as you reviewed last year, what did you kind of see that got in your guys' way and that you can kind of tangibly change and be more optimistic towards this year?
Looking at last year, I think me and my teammates kind of had to evaluate where we went wrong as a group, And in looking at it, we were afraid to call each other out, I think. It's kind of hard to, call out a friend, but, we have to realize we have to be teammates and call each other out on our mistakes. And in terms of carrying that over to this year, I've seen a whole lot more, holding people accountable, people being more vocal. And I think that's just going to help us this year rather than how it hurt us last year.
Fourth row, far left.
Josh, I know that you and Coach Boyle were part of that USA basketball training camp for the Pan Am Games this summer. Can you talk about that experience for you, who you went up with, and maybe what you took away from that?
First off, it was a great experience. Really enjoyed it. It's pretty cool to put on, the red, white, and blue. It was also awesome to play against some great players. Obviously, Caleb was there. And, I got to play on the same team as him. Never happens, in the 4 years. So it was kind of a different feel. But, in terms of playing against, great players, it was just a good experience. You learn about different players' work ethics, how they go about things, and you got to kind of pick, different players' brains. And so it kind of was a learning experience as well. And I took a lot from it. It also fired me up because I didn't make the squad, so it kind of served as motivation, more fuel to the fire. Not that I need very much, this year, but it definitely added to it.
Far right, first row.
You guys have had recent pros like Alec Burks and Andre Roberson and emerge in the league, and even now former NBA player Chauncey Billups has stepped away from the game. Can you talk about how their relationship has evolved with you and the program and the players? Coach or Josh, my apologies.
I'll talk, and I'll let Josh add anything. But we've had, obviously Chauncey's been the face of Colorado basketball for a while, and he's somebody we talk about in recruiting. And but more recently with Alec and Andre and now Spencer Dinwiddie, this program's put 3 players in the NBA that left school early, really in a 4-year period of time, which I think maybe caught up with us a little bit last year, quite frankly. It's hard to continue to replenish the coffers, so to speak, and I think this year, we're going to be better because we basically lose 1 player off last year's team. We add 4 players when you talk about the 2 new recruits, Josh Fortune, coming to the mix. So, but having those guys come back, they've, all 3 of those guys, Spencer and Andre and Alec, all came back this fall for football games. They interact with their former teammates, and I think it sets a tone for what can happen for these guys if they continue to work hard. And I'm not afraid to say it. I think this guy's our next pro. I think he's really a special player, and there's no question in my mind he's got what it takes to play at that next level. But he's going to have to make that happen. He's going to have to get in the right situation and all that. But it's great having those guys back and lending credibility to what we're trying to do as a program, and let these guys know what's in store for them, hopefully, if they continue to work hard.
All right, that'll do it. Oh, we'll get one more. Time for one more question.
Kevin Dana from Pac-12.com. Josh, I just want to follow up on the Pan Am games. And not only were you going up against some college guys, but there were guys like Damian Wilkins, Bobby Brown, Ryan Hollins there as well, guys with NBA experience. I was just wondering how playing against men, like full 30-year-old men, kind of helped your development as a player.
You got to see how they went about professionally. How they took care of their bodies, how they ate, even how they played, how they stretched. It's definitely more of a, I'd say extensive look into what a professional career is like. And playing against them. I only got to play against Ryan Hollins one day. He was only there for one day, and he's definitely long, taller, more athletic than most college guys are, and so it was a good experience, and just to see how they carried themselves and went about their business was good for me.